welcome to the Jeff Fishing Vlog. What I'm about to show you now is part 2 of Storytime with Irv. I know I refer to him as my Uncle Tommy. My dad had always referred to him as Irv. And the Storytime with Irv is kind of an inside joke because I'll tell my brother-in-law stories about my dad, and he always makes a joke about Storytime with Red. Some of my stories about my dad are pretty outlandish. He was quite a character. So anyway, I know the wind's going to be pretty bad through this video, and I have ordered a windsock for my camera, so hopefully that'll fix some of my issues going forward. Tommy can be very hard on me at times, and one of the things that he does is he gives me a hard time about saying stuff like, you know, and I catch myself saying it in the videos every now and then, and whenever I do it, I always hear Tommy in the back of my head saying, well, maybe I don't know, you know. so I try not, and I try to be very thoughtful about that. And that's why a lot of times, like, I'll pause before I talk to keep myself from saying certain phrases that he always gives me a hard time about. And Tommy really has been one of my best friends. I know I say it a lot on these videos that, you know, one of my favorite fishing partners, my best friends. But life's too short to spend time with people that you don't love, or that you don't really enjoy being around. And Tommy, I talk to Tommy almost every week. You know, once a week or once every couple of weeks, he'll call me or I'll call him, and we'll just get caught up or whatever. And he's just been a really good influence. And anyway, love the guy to death. And hate saying good things about him here on camera because I just assume give him a hard time. It's more fun that way. But I hope you guys enjoy. I know the wind can be hard to listen to, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to break it up into 20-minute sections. So anyway, so here's part 2 of Storytime with Irv. You'll get to hear a little something about my great-grandpa, and I think we're going to tell a few more stories about my grandpa Irvin, and maybe we'll get into something with Dad. I don't know, maybe that'll be part 3. Anyway, thanks, guys.
Where's your clapper? Your clapper for that thing. You know what, like they do on TV?
I don't have one. How about that?
Yeah.
I thought about it. I can see where it could come in handy when
I don't know about handy, but
here we go.
it's a showing thing. You got something?
Hell yeah.
Stick?
One of them good old stick fishes. I kept my minnow though. How about that?
Okay.
You're getting a bite. Just pick it up. Don't set the hook. Just pick it up, and if you feel a bite, then set the hook. Go ahead and turn your rod over. There you go.
Last few times I was fishing with open face.
Sure.
Yeah, I got a little bite. Something out there.
Yeah, if you feel it, just... Dad said hook sets are free.
Huh?
My dad, your brother, had lots of little sayings. And
Yeah.
one of them is hook sets are free.
Hook sets. Yeah.
Hook sets don't cost you anything.
Yeah, he liked that fishing.
He said, you know, they're not grabbing it with their hands. You know, they're grabbing it with their mouths. So, you know, you got to keep that in mind. And which my favorite is the, you know, best time to fish is anytime you can go.
Yeah. Anytime you can get out there and do it.
I really didn't think we'd get to go fishing today. I really thought you were going to come out and it was going to rain all day and we'd just hang out in the shed and the Jeff Fishing Studios there with that one clean spot.
Yeah, we're talking about your dad. I don't know how old he was. I think he was about 9 or 10 because I was 14 or 15 when 2 summers I had a job selling ice cream. Pushing one of them tricycles, you know, with a freezer on between 2 wheels.
Really?
You ever seen them?
That was in Black Oak, I guess?
It's in Black Oak.
Gotcha.
And I think it was over on 23rd. The other side of the tracks is where the people were. We lived in Quonset at the time, I think.
Dad always talked about...
Anyway, the old man and old woman that they had, I think, 5 of them carts. But me and Red was on Red wanted to go with me. You know, he liked getting in there and getting ice cream out.
Sure.
And he had a bicycle. He ride with me. We got over in this area, that 25th and up King Street or something like that. And as I remember, a long time ago, and this little Mexican kid, I was selling some ice cream. This little Mexican kid took exception to something about Red. And they started arguing, and then they started fighting. And in about 15 minutes there, I sold about $9 worth of ice cream while they was fighting. Neither one of them won. Whenever one get either other than down, I'd pull them apart until they stand up.
You know a good thing when you
I remember that like it was yesterday. Yeah.
I'm selling too much ice cream.
Yeah.
We gotta make this last for a little while.
I think Red loved every minute of it.
That
might have been what got him started.
I'm positive he did. He talked about that. You guys moving around and going to new neighborhoods every time he'd go to. He said redheaded and crooked teeth. He couldn't keep, but from fighting.
They're gonna take exception to it.
Every
Try him out. I was real lucky. I never did. I can't remember actually getting in an actual fight until I was about 15, and Clark got to running with a Kirby. I forget what his first name was. Susie's brother.
I know who he is.
Yeah.
Or I met him once. Yeah.
He ended up, he did time with Clark and was a bouncer at the Friendly.
Sure.
Black Oak, whatever.
When I met him, it was at the Black Oak.
Yeah. But for some reason, we went down there by Hicks's store there on Hanley. And he wanted to fight me. Hell, he was a good-sized boy. Of course, I was a good-sized boy, too. It was snow on the ground, and I had some old slick shoes on. Anyway, we swung a couple times, and I got him down and had him held down and hit him. I asked him, I said, "You give?" He said, "Yeah." I had him.
Sure.
If I had to kill her like Red did, if it had been Red, he'd beat the hell out of him. Never did have no trouble. Robert Kirby, yeah. Never had no trouble with him after that.
Things just not wanting to bite while you're holding it on it.
Well, it's April's uncle.
So, speaking of being a teenager and being in Black Oak and all that, pretty good time playing football back there for Calumet, the way I understand it.
Oh yeah, I told one of them girls of Rogers when they was down here for his wake. I said, as I look back on it, one of the greatest times in my life was going to Calumet High School and being the captain of the football team.
Yeah, I ran across an old picture of you and the other two co-captains.
Yeah, Jim Wilsey and me, Lonnie Anthony. He was the black guy.
I played a little bit, although far from being a co-captain. And from when you started playing, you guys had success. Won conference or co-conference champions.
Co-conference, yeah.
Co-conference champions. To when I started playing, I don't know that there was a lot of successful years in between.
And there wasn't too many successful before my years.
I always remember going into the gym, seeing the trophy, knowing that you played for that team back then.
Yeah,
that was really cool. When I played, I was fortunate enough I never even thought I'd get to play football. We went to Drexboro High School from first grade to ninth grade, and they did not offer. All they had was baseball, basketball, and band. Right.
Yeah, mainly all I had was basketball.
Right. So when we make the move to Calumet, I didn't get on the football team right off the bat, but the next year I didn't. And to be honest, I was so far behind. You start, you're supposed to start playing football in about junior high. Some kids do it a little earlier, but there's, anyway. Let me move past all of that. All my excuses for not being a good football player. Right?
Yeah,
well. We made it. We lost every game in the regular season. I think we played 4 teams ranked in the state. We were pretty much outclassed every time we turned around. But lost every game in the regular season and won our first 2 games in the sectionals to get to play in a conference, in a sectional championship, which was the first team to play in a sectional championship, I think, since you played. Now, I don't know if you guys.
We didn't do no. We didn't get in no. Yeah, we didn't do any good in the postseason, just in the conference.
So, I thought that was really cool that I got to experience that playing for Calumet, playing for a team that's not really known for any of that. And then whenever Jesse got to play, he played on a team that beat they had, I think they had a better than 500 record, or maybe ended up 500 the first year we played. Ended up on a team that beat the conference champions in the first round of the sectionals, and the next year they won conference and then lost to the team they beat before, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all this being said, not that any of these guys watch this or whatever, I do want to throw my congratulations out there for last year's Calumet football team. Oh my God, man. What was it, semi-state they made it to?
Yeah, I think it is. Mickey, give me a heads up. When I first got my phone, I didn't know it. I still don't know jack about it. But he said, Calumet game is on, and I had to call him back a couple of times. I finally got it, and I got to see it was halftime. It was 55-0 in favor of the other team, or something outrageous.
They
got their butt whooped.
That's the Calumet scores I'm used to.
Yeah.
But if I would have got to watch it, if I'd have known where to watch it, I don't care. I would have watched it.
Current's not near as bad as I expected it to be. Them 1 ounce sinkers are holding tight. And even right here, it's not pulling my line tight like I thought it would be. I'm getting a bite as soon as I throw it out there.
But hey,
you gotta watch that river. It'll do that.
I got a tip for everybody, especially working men. If you buy a cooler that's got them peaks on the top, the handles and everything, that ain't flat. You gotta have a flat top cooler. That way, whenever you get tired, you can sit on that sucker.
Yeah.
A cooler that you can't sit on ain't worth nothing to me, because I got dropsy bad.
Now, I've heard quite a bit about Grandpa, but I know my first memory of meeting my grandpa, I had a couple of them. When we first moved to Kentucky, I didn't meet Grandpa until I was like 5 years old.
Yeah.
6. So the first thing is Dad told me that Grandpa Irvin was not like my grandparents up there, that he wasn't all nice and, all nice and loving, that if I got out of line, that he would
he wasn't whooping your ass.
And I don't know if he realized it or not, but I got plenty of whoopings out of the grandparents up there. Okay, they didn't spare the rod. Okay, never had that issue with Grandpa.
You had to get me.
When I first met him, I was a little intimidated by him, because hearing that and looking back at how he treated me, I don't think that was ever going to be the case. Not that he wouldn't have. That first day I was there, he went in the morning and got chickens running around the yard, or maybe that chickens were already there. Anyway, he was all, like I said, looking back, I see things a little differently. But he had me come outside with him. He's like, "Oh, you got to watch this. You got to watch this." He says, he said, we take these chickens, and he went and caught the chicken, and he said, and normally what I'll do is like we're gonna have chicken tonight, so I'll take it, I'll spin the chicken around the top of my head, hold it by the neck, and when I stop, a lot of times you can pop the head off, and then the body will just run around. Well, he done it, except for the head didn't come off. The head stayed on. And he was so disappointed, and I thought it was the coolest thing watching that chicken with and then he took it in and handed it to Grandma, but she already had the water boiling, and then he went on about his day, and she stood there plucking her feathers or whatever. And I got to thinking about that now. I'm like, man, I don't think they make women like that anymore. All that being said, I don't know very much about your grandpa or your grandma.
My
Uncles. I know there's an Uncle Elmer.
Wester.
Wester. Uncle Elmer Wester, okay.
That's grandma's mama's brother.
Okay.
Grandma Evie was a Wester before she was a Buchanan.
Okay, I got
you. But she was married Buchanan. She was born in Wester. My grandma was born in Buchanan, and then my mama was born in Harrison.
Sure.
So on the maternal side, the names get lost because they change them. But Uncle Elmer, he lived to be about, I think, almost 199.
That must be why, I remember it being pointed out that he lived there. I didn't realize that he was like a great uncle. I was thinking
he wasn't a close uncle.
Grandpa's brother, not uncle.
Yeah.
Did you know much about Grandpa's dad?
A little bit. I was 9 years old when he passed, so he gave me one of them. Grandpa will whoop your ass. He told me not to go across the fence. I did, and it was underneath a big willow tree. He grabbed that willow switch, and I was about five. As I remember, he wore my ass out. No, I'm sure he didn't. But I was stunned. And if he told me to do something, I'd done it from then on. But his young history, the history of the reason our name is Wilson, but he was born John Clark Honecker or Honecker, whichever way you want to pronounce it.
We're not necessarily real clear of the actual.
Yeah, well, I think they pronounce it a little. Honecker, I think, is basically the way it is. All I ever heard was Honecker. But in Honecker, Virginia. Now that's, as Grandma says, that's old Virginia. It's not West Virginia, that's old Virginia.
Yeah.
And anyway, his mom and daddy, evidently his mom and daddy passed, died. And anyway, after they passed, he was a little bit ornery. And I think they sent him to reform school because, but his sister, Aunt Dorothy, was adopted by an aunt whose husband's name is Wilson. All right. During this time that Grandpa was in homeless or whatever reform school, he run away 2 or 3 times, and I think he was 15 or 16 the last time. And they sent two men to take him back to wherever he was going, and they was whooping the shit out of him, knocking him around and everything. And the story goes that one of them knocked him off the side of the road in a ditch, and when Grandpa come back, he had a pistol and he shot both of them. So he had to unass the territory. They both lived. One of them was crippled or maimed or whatever. And he finally made it to Ball County, Kentucky. It's in eastern Kentucky.
Okay.
Where his sister was. And he went to live with them. And by living with them, after a time, not after a time, but by being with them, he just took the last name.
He was probably like a young teenager at the time.
Yeah, 15, 16 years old. And then he, later on, he worked in logwoods. They go out, back in the day, he was doing it in his hands, saw.
Sure.
Yeah. And they go out and stay for a whole week in the woods. They didn't come home. Yeah, it was a transportation thing. But Daddy said they get tired of doing nothing. They wasn't working, so they'd fight. Fight till they get tired, then rest up and fight some more. Of course, then Grandpa went to work in coal mines, and actually, the word is he was the first president of the local union in Muhlenberg County. But as I got older, I understood he was well liked by the people.
He didn't like the ones that didn't like him, he just hit him in the mouth.
Well, I was 9 and he died when he was 60, and Daddy died when he was 60. And whenever I was near my 60th birthday, I was a little nervous, fellas. But here I am, pushing 76, so I'm doing better.
When you were getting to your 60th, you were in pretty fair health, other than your nerves.
No, whenever I was 60, I was in great health.
When Grandpa was there at 60, he'd already